Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and good evening again, fellow club members and our honored guests for tonight. And my topic for this evening is the immorality of embryonic stem cell research. What comes to your mind when, that is said? Is it Michael J. Fox, on TV? You would see him with his Parkinsonian gait. I mean, Parkinsonian gait is unnatural, either doing like this, doing like that. And sometimes I get dizzy just watching him. And who couldn't be touched by such a picture of a person beseechingly, just like, help me, because of the embryonic stem cell research that he is thinking it would help him. Who couldn't be touched by such a picture, of this in TV, and he is lobbying for this. And he is one of the active lobbyists for this the subject. My purpose tonight is to tell you why embryonic stem cell research is immoral and that we as Christians should be against it. With the knowledge that I would be presenting to you tonight, you would be able to engage sometimes in colleagues, in conversation with family, why you are against it and why it is morally wrong. Embryonic stem cell research is not illegal in the United States. President Bush banned the use of federal fund to advance such research, but it is still done. It's okay in the private and in the state level. So let's first know what is stem cell. A stem cell is one of the human body's master cell with the ability to grow in any one of the body's more than 200 cell types. And they offer much hope for medical, advancement. And because of this ability, a lot would like to go into the bandwagon, like private companies. And who knows, it would really offer help, And there are three main sources for obtaining stem cells. One is the adult cells, which can be obtained from bone marrow and the peripheral, our skin. And adult stem cells are regenerative cells of the human body that can be coaxed to become a whole host of tissues. They can become like your heart tissue and the neural matter that is in our spine and in our brain. And with these adult stem cells, it is recorded, it's being practiced. Physicians have successfully treated autoimmune diseases such as lupus and multiple sclerosis and Crohn's disease and rheumatoid arthritis. And these are, it's common knowledge. It's being practiced in our hospitals, especially in cancer clinics and, that, do this to cancer patients. They have also restored proper cardiac function to heart attack victims and improved movement in spinal cord injury patients. Today, the second one is the cord cells, and these are byproducts when women give birth, the umbilical cord and the placenta. And today, doctors use cord blood cells to cure about 70 diseases. And these are recorded. They use this in procedures in the hospital, and mostly help are anemias or cancers of the blood, such as leukemias and lymphomas. And the third, which I want to zero in with my speech, is embryonic cells. And this is extracted directly from an embryo. And for the purpose of my speech, this is where the great controversy lies regarding this subject. And this is where we should engage as a Christian, and why I find it so immoral. Embryonic stem cells are extracted directly from the embryo. And what is an embryo? This is, when the egg and the sperm combine and it forms an embryo which grows into a fetus. These embryonic victims come from two main sources: the surplus embryos donated from fertility clinics, and also discarded fetuses from abortion clinics. Surplus embryos, donated by fertility clinics. We should note that embryonic stem cells is, to me, unnecessary, because adult stem cells are already doing what they, it's doing already its job with the same capacity. It's already available and already providing real cure. It's documented. And the Massachusetts Family Institute reports, which I quoted to you before, the uses of adult stem cells in their research, that it's really doing a lot of good and it's proven and tested. But the same institute concluded that embryonic stem cells have yet to yield one single success in the treatment of any single human ailment. You know, like, why are they so much into this? And private companies embark more on adult stem cells because, like private companies, you're a business entity, you want to succeed, you want to earn money, so they go on more into the proven and tested adult stem cell research. And they also would like to go to embryonic, but it is more hindered by a lot of controversies, the legal, the ethical issues, and on another thing, it has yet to prove itself. So why go there? And so why they are so much, lobbying for this in the government? Because the government, once it approves it, will provide funding for the scientists which private companies would provide. So that's where all the controversy, and that's why there is so much lobbying for this. The government will finance it, and scientists could have their agenda. But more importantly, embryonic stem cell research is unscriptural and unethical. The Bible clearly teaches us that the human life begins at conception. Embryonic stem cell harvesting really violates "thou shalt not kill." That is really clear in Exodus 20, verse 13. And we often, read the word begot in the Bible. What does begot means? It means conception. The Bible regards the born and the unborn children the same. And it says in Psalms 139, verses 13 and 16, David marveled at God, how God, tell him how fearfully and wonderfully he crafted him in the womb. So what does it tell us? And also there are, we read in Job, Isaiah, and Jeremiah describing how God fashioned their bodies and ordained their destinies before they were born. And the law of Moses further shows the truth by valuing the life of the unborn as greatly as the life of an adult. Read it in Exodus 21, verses 20 to 23. The scripture puts the mother and her unborn on equal footing. So the murder of either one person is a capital offense. While recognizing the personhood of embryos, some have nevertheless argued we should sacrifice a few embryos to advance medical science because they're going to be destroyed anyway. So, but this utilitarian and justifies the means thinking is unscriptural. Killing an innocent human being to alleviate the suffering of another is an immoral way of achieving this end. Evil means are never justified, no matter how desirable the end. Adding a wrong to a wrong does not subtract from the first wrong, but it only compounds the evil. So the fact that an elective abortion has already occurred does not mean that we can justify the additional wrong of experimentation with a live aborted baby or its tissues, regardless of the information that we may be able to glean from them. And just because something is technically possible doesn't mean that it is morally permissible. The proper use of science demands that its new research project begin with a moral basis. The Christian might therefore echo the words of former President Bush, who has halted further harvesting of embryonic cells in the U.S., has weathered much abuse of his life-honoring views. While we must devote enormous energy to conquering disease, it is equally important that we pay attention to the moral concerns raised by the new frontier of human embryo stem cell research. Even the most noble ends do not justify the means. So I encourage you, fellow club members, in any way, initiatives or agenda, we support it. We support against it because it is what we stand for. We are against it just because God says so. Thank you.